Hello, this is Alexander Cross, criminal defense here in the San Francisco Bay Area. If you'd like to learn more about criminal defense, be sure to subscribe to our channel, Law Offices of Cross and Associates. So we received an interesting inquiry here on our YouTube channel. This has to do with a false accusation of touching a girl. Criminal attorney, Fairfield. Child molestation, Fairfield. Attorney, Fairfield. Let's see. I am accused of improperly touching a 7-year-old girl at a party. I have an open domestic violence case. Can that hurt me, and how can I defend myself if the accusations are false? Well, first of all, yes, of course it would hurt your domestic violence case, especially if you're on probation for that domestic violence case, because any new arrest would be considered a violation of probation. Obviously, if you are acquitted of the new case, then they will not violate your probation for your domestic violence. You have to understand that domestic violence is something that can be filed as a misdemeanor, or it can be filed as a felony. If it is filed as a misdemeanor, a probation violation could land you in county jail for up to a year, but if it's filed as a felony, it could land you up to 4 years of state prison. So you have to be aware of this. Now, let's go into the child molestation aspect. You know, one of the things I need to know about, because obviously this is talking about a 7-year-old here, is what kind of child molestation? Are they talking about touching outside, or was there some kind of sexual penetration, you know, with a finger or something like that? The reason is because if we're talking about touching chest, vaginal area, buttocks on the outside, that's a violation of Penal Code Section 288, parentheses A, felony, which carries up to 8 years state prison, plus having to register as a sex offender for life. Now, if you go in and let's say they're claiming that there's sexual penetration of a 7-year-old, well, now we're talking about a violation of Penal Code Section 288.7, which carries up to, it's 25 to life. So that makes a huge difference on the charges. In a situation like this, what will be necessary to do is to hire a private investigator in addition to hiring an attorney, so that the private investigator to talk to everybody at the party. See, because what will happen is the little girl, the 7-year-old, is going to be interviewed by Child Protective Services and by the police, and they're going to ask her a huge pile of questions to see whether or not her statements are detailed enough and consistent enough. Now, if she starts giving all these random statements that have nothing to do with anything else, well, then the DA is going to have some problems. The district attorney is going to have some problems prosecuting you. But, you know, obviously if she's giving some very consistent statements, well, then that's going to be a very big problem, especially since in these cases you have this he said, she said type thing. Now, in this case, you're going to have a private investigator talk to all of the witnesses, everybody who was there at the party, to see what they have to say about what allegedly took place. Obviously, with tons of people there, somebody must have potentially seen something. Obviously, if somebody says, oh, well, we saw them go together by themselves in a locked room, well, that's a big problem. Because the little girl says, oh, no, he touched me in the living room in front of everybody. Well, you know, everybody there says, no, that didn't happen. He wasn't even near the little girl. He was drinking at the bar or whatever. Well, you're going to have to get those statements. That's going to be really important, because it'd be horrific to have to go to trial without these statements backing up your version of events, and then you have this little girl who's there probably crying and getting the sympathy of a jury and potentially ending up with you getting convicted of something that you didn't do. Regardless, if you'd like to learn more about criminal defense here in the San Francisco Bay Area, be sure to subscribe to our channel, Law Offices of Cross and Associates, and ask questions in the comment sections of the videos, and we can respond to these questions. But if you've been accused of a crime and need representation in court here in the San Francisco Bay Area, give us a call at 1-800-862-7677. Once again, 1-800-862-7677. On our next video, we're going to be discussing the case of somebody who was arrested for obstruction of justice. Criminal attorney, Fairfield. Attorney, Fairfield. Child molestation, Fairfield. Sex crime, Fairfield.